Hey, everybody. Good evening, and happy Tuesday to all of you. It's on the verge of late here in Alabama. So, depending on what time you're watching, happy Tuesday to you. It is my hope and my prayer that you and your family are blessed this week. The Garrett family have been navigating a very multifaceted experience this week between ministry obligations, baby boy just getting over his fever after like a week of running a 104, 105. We didn't know what in the world was going on. We've just been trying to navigate parenthood and marriage and family transition. So this evening, this is the first time in the last couple of days I've really had an opportunity to sit still for a bit, think on some things, and go live to really propel you guys. I hope that you guys will bear with me this evening because this is on my heart to share. I don't always have teachable moments, but tonight we most certainly do. And I'm saying all of this because as you're moving forward and creating your vision, a lot of us are thinking about what in the world is going to happen for the new year. We're already planning ahead for 2023. Some of us are thinking about our business goals. Some of us are hoping for different changes in our family. Some of us are trying to get our fitness life together. Others of us just want to be more consistent and concise in how we walk out the things that are in our heart. A lot of us have a whole lot of things running through our minds. And so tonight we're going to be talking about the cycle of change, okay? The cycle of change. What happens to you as a person when you begin to walk forward and say, these are the changes that I want to see in my life? If you're new here, I am Christina Garrett. I am your productivity coach. Whether you have worked with me yet one-on-one or not, I'm still your productivity coach. I am here to be the voice in your head that reminds you that balance is possible. Joy in the journey is possible. You're able to meet your goals, make more money, be more successful, glow up more, and not lose sight of what's most important. We do this through one-to-one consulting where I meet with you, ambitious mama, and we work together to help you create the vision that really works for you and honors your season. And then simultaneously, we have an incredible online community of women who are gathering and working and planning and measuring their results and really going after what it is that's in their hearts to do. So we gather multiple times throughout the year, but our big explosion is the Mamathon Conference every October, usually somewhere around Atlanta, Georgia. And so we're looking forward to releasing those details in 2023 about what's popping off for the new year. Okay. The reason that we're talking about the cycle of change tonight is because there are a lot of us who are thinking over our word for the coming year. There are some of us who are analyzing how we're going to make changes in our careers, in our businesses. Some of us are releasing a different vision. We're talking through some different things with their families. I know me and my husband have just been really working on what is it that's best for our family in this season. And a lot of that is slowing down, deeper breaths, more intentional living, doing less, going all over the place, and instead really focusing in on what's most important. Like, these are the necessities. These are the must-haves for the Garrett family vision, okay? And just like we're doing, I want you guys to begin to think on these things. What is it that's in store for you? What is it that you're holding on to that you really want to pursue as we exit 2022 and go into a new year? My oldest son, he said, Mom, the year went by so fast. And I told him, son, every year goes by this fast. You go into the new year, you blink, it's your birthday, you blink again, and it's the holidays. Every year goes by this fast. And as we go through these years, good evening, everyone, there's a whole lot of cycles of change that we go through as we pursue something different. As we begin to elect to have a different version of us, to pursue something new, you're going to go through these transitions. It is inevitable. I wish that I could give you something else that was going to let you think you didn't have to go through all of this, but we do. It's a part of the process, okay? It's a part of the process. And so I want for us to hold on to that. I want us to remember that this is a part of the process, okay? So as we are working through the emotional cycle of change, what happens in our spirits, in our minds, and in our emotions as we go through these cycles, the transitions that are inevitable as we build, as we pursue new things. I'm going to tell you something. Whenever you get it in your heart or in your mind that you're about to do something explosive, all of life, including your brain, steps in to tell you, let's play it a little safer. That's not quite the way that we want to do some things. That's a bit out of our comfort zone. Like maybe we want to find a way to do that exact thing, but safe. Is there a way that I can become the best version of myself without taking out all the time to read those books? Without taking the time to take those courses? Without taking the time to get the professional help that I might need? Are there ways that I can execute better without all this stress, without being uncomfortable? I shared the last time that we were live that your body's mission is to create homeostasis, right? Your brain's mission, your body's job is to keep you safe. It's to keep you safe. So as you're pursuing something excellent, your body's job is to say, "Hey, wait a second, let's take it a little slower. Let's do this a little different because it's feeling a bit overwhelming." Whenever you're going to make changes, you're going to go through these cycles. And we're going to talk about this tonight because somebody needs to know going into the new year. Someone needs to know as you're picking out your word for 2023. Somebody needs to know as you begin to map out and create some bigger, more explosive plans, you're going to go through these cycles. The last time we were live, we talked about the 4 phases of taking action, right? We talked about how there are different moments where sometimes we take massive action and we're moving and doing all the things. And then there are other times in our life where we can only take average action. I'm literally doing just enough to get by. Then there will be moments where I don't take any action at all because I feel like I'm stuck or confined in a certain way. And then when I really feel overwhelmed, when I'm really frustrated, when I really feel like I can't make it, I'm going to regress. I'm going to say, you know what? I knew this business was a bad idea. I knew this book was a bad idea. I knew teaching my kids X, Y, and Z or homeschooling or whatever that obstacle is. I knew that was a bad idea. So regressing means I now go a completely different way, not even the way that I know is right for me. So let's just analyze this a little bit, our different types of action, okay? And how does this play into the cycle of change? How does it play into the cycle of change, okay? So in the book, because I'm rereading this again for myself. The book is called The 12-Week Year, okay? The 12-Week Year. In the 12-week year, he says that there are 5 disciplines. The 5 disciplines are vision, planning, process control, measurement, and time use. I'm going to say that again. Vision, planning, process control, measurement, and time use. And so utilizing the book in particular, it begins to show you what the emotional cycle of change looks like in your own life. That whenever you decide you're going to be this person, you're going to be her today, it's going to take some blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to take some intentional decision making in order to walk into that. So the 12-week year, the book, but any time that you decide to create dynamic change, it's going to pull from you. Anytime you decide that you no longer want to take average action, mediocre action, just do what everyone else is doing, it's going to require an emotional pulling on your part. And somehow we feel as though I'm going to make the decision I want to be this person. My mind, my body, my brain, my spirit, my environment is going to reflect that I want to be this person. And we feel as though it's inevitable in a way. It's going to absolutely flow just the way I like it. And so instead of this, I want us to just think on some things today, okay? I want us to just consider over the course of time that whenever I decide to create new change, it's going to pull some things from me. Can we own up to that? It's going to pull some things from me. When I make the decision to be someone new, it's going to pull from me. And everything in my mind and my body and my spirit is going to try to protect me from being this person. It's going to try to protect me. It's going to try to keep me safe and comfortable. It's not going to want me to develop and change into this new version of myself. So what we do is we go through, hey there, y'all, we go through these emotional cycles. We go through the emotional cycles of up and down and up and down. And so I'm going to teach this because there's an interconnectedness between your vision and your planning, but also your process. And there's a connection between your process and how you use your time. And there's a connection between how you use your time and your relationship with your family. And there's a relationship with your work with your family and your environment. All of these things flow together. They go together. So some of us feel like it's all separate. No. They're all interconnected, okay? So as we talk about the cycle of change, this is what I really want to get to tonight. I was, talking with one of my clients the other day, and we were talking about recognizing our patterns in our marriages, in our relationship with our children, at work, in our careers, what our minds do. What does it look like when I shut down emotionally? All these things. Like, we all have patterns that play out in our lives, and we fall into them again and again until we realize this is what my brain tells me on the regular. This is what my spirit does as a coping mechanism. This is what my mind tells me to do when I begin to feel uncomfortable or unseen, unappreciated, you name it. I fall into these patterns. And the falling into the patterns directly intertwine with the cycle of change, okay? These are the emotions that we go through. The emotions that we go through as a result of choosing something better for ourselves. As we go into the new year, you're choosing better. You're coming up with words. You're rewriting your business plan. You're saying, listen, I'm about to go after the promotion. I'm about to tell these children what it is. We're going through all of these different ebbs and flows, and we have these emotions that are intertwined with it. Sometimes they work for us and other times they don't, because our feelings and our mind and our spirit is often designed to protect us from feeling uncomfortable. But dare I say that on the other side of the discomfort is something so beautiful and so vibrant and so exciting. On the other side of discomfort is everything that you've been wanting. On the other side of change is the life you've been craving. But for many of us, we fall into these cycles. So I'm about to show you guys something. And in the book 12-Week Year, the emotional cycle of change. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And I'll probably be back on live again tomorrow to talk about it some more. This is what it looks like, the emotional cycle of change. Okay. And he says that there are 5 stages that people move through emotionally when they choose to change their behavior. You have uninformed optimism. Okay. That's the first stage. It's the most exciting one. Somebody put in the comments for me, uninformed optimism. It's where you think about all the benefits of changing your life, where you think about all the amazingness of electing something different. We think about all of the awesomeness that comes with choosing the different. However, when it comes down to it, I'm about to share this into the group. When it comes down to it, we have not fully thought out everything that's going to go with the plan. We haven't fully thought it all out. Okay. So let's analyze this a little bit. Our emotions are driven by uninformed optimism, which is in the positive emotional area of the graph. Okay. So when you look at this graph right here, when you see up here, this phase 1, when you're on cloud 9, phase 1, when you're up here excited about everything in life, oh my goodness, Once January comes, I'm hitting the gym. I'm about to become one of those Instagram babes. I'm about to kill the game. These are the cycles of change that we go through. You hit this point in your journey, you get pumped up about that new idea. You get pumped up about what's coming next. Hey, Janisha. You get excited about what God is doing in your life. You hold on, let me go here too. You receive that prophetic word. You receive that prophetic word. That it's your moment, it's your season. You get pumped up. God is doing a new thing. You grab onto that word at church, you run laps, you're going to shout about it. And then somewhere in the midst of it, we backslide, we overcome, we go to a different place. And so what he says in the book is our emotions are driven by our uninformed optimism. You're brainstorming ideas and strategizing how you might create the new level of ideas that you desire. Unfortunately, uninformed optimism doesn't last long. Uninformed optimism does not last long. It is fleeting. You have not yet researched all the things you need to do to arrive at your destination. You don't yet know how powerful you will be on the other side of this thing. We don't even understand the full complexity of everything that needs to happen to bring this idea to fruition, right? We don't even understand all of that. It's uninformed optimism. I'm just excited. I'm about to go and do it big. Do what? I'm pumped up. We haven't thought about all the bullet points that need to go underneath becoming this person, okay? That's our uninformed optimism. One of my favorite podcasters, she says that enthusiasm has a half-life. Isn't that true? Enthusiasm has a half-life. So you get pumped up, you get excited. Some ladies, they come to the conference, right? They're on fire. But the conference is literally just a starting point for us. It's a starting point. The real work comes after you've left. The real work comes after you say, you know what? I now know what I want. Now I got to put together the how. Now I have to work on my consistency, showing up with joy and with service and with love. Now I have to work on that part. I have to work on navigating through. My family wasn't there at the conference to get passionate and excited about the future. They weren't there. Because they weren't there, now I have to come home and navigate that. So we get optimistic and excited. And then what happens is after the fact, now we have to navigate through. This is after the event, after the prophetic word, after that time with God that sets you on fire, all of these things. After that, now you have to work on the process. So we have this enthusiasm that does not last forever. We have this excitement about the future, but you're not informed when you get excited about all of this. You just know what the future can look like, so you're excited. But it doesn't last long. It says at this point, the benefits don't seem as real, important, or immediate. And the costs of the change are apparent. You start to question if the change is worth the effort, and you start to look for reasons to abandon the effort. If that's not bad enough, things get worse. Okay. So we start to make some pivots. We start to make some changes. Okay. We're optimistic at first, but then once we start to see what it's going to cost us, now we want to back out. Okay. So the second stage of change is informed pessimism. Informed pessimism. It's when we start to count the cost of the idea. It's where we start to weigh, do I really want this? It's where we start to do the math and we say, you know what? The person that I need to be and the person that I am feels so far apart. How in the world am I going to reconcile these two things together? So we start to kind of go into a little micro depression when we start to count the cost of the idea, when we start to weigh out, is it worth it? I didn't know it was going to cost me a little bit of sleep. I know it was going to cost me money. I didn't know it was going to cost me a change in mindset. I didn't know it was going to cost me changing the thoughts that I speak to myself. I didn't realize it was going to take all of this. And because of that, we begin to regress, like Grant Cardone starts to say. We start to question if the change is really worth the effort. And you start to look for reasons to abandon. I cannot tell you how many incredible women I come in contact with. And what we feel like as those who serve others, and you know you have the answer. You know you do. But there will be some people who are hesitant on accepting it because, hey, Tracy, because they're not sure if they can be responsible for the change. There will be some people who they are not sure if they can be responsible for the change. So once they realize it's going to cost them their old habits, cost them their fear, which is comfortable, cost them some things that they don't want to work through, go through, do, they start to feel sad. I didn't know it was going to take all of this, Christina. I didn't know I was going to need to do X, Y, and Z. There were places I walked into new phases of my business this year. I had to make a different level of investment in myself. I had to make different levels of investment. I had to make the choice. I was not going to be at this really incredible level, right? I wasn't going to stop there. I was going to keep on going. I was going to keep on pushing. This was not going to be the end. If they tell me I got to invest in my business in order to go to the next level, that $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 is going to make me 5 times that, 10 times that, that's the cost I have to be willing to pay. If I get that much multiplied in value internally, then I'm changing myself, then it's worth it. But I'm going to tell you something. Once we start to get to that place of, I know I need to make a change, I didn't realize it was going to cost me all of this. And this is for everybody who's walking into, you're going towards the new year, you're figuring out your word for next year and all of this incredible stuff. It's all so good. But in the midst of becoming this new woman, this new person, this impassioned, bold, sassy version of yourself, please know that your body, your environment, your mind is going to start working overtime to protect you. And because of that, you're going to fall into what is informed pessimism. I didn't know it was going to cost me all of this. So he says stage 3 is the valley of despair. Doesn't that sound pitiful? So this is when most people give up. All of the pain of change is felt, and the benefits seem far away or less important. Oh, that's good. And there's a fast, easy way to end the discomfort. Go back to the way you used to do stuff. After all, you rationalize it wasn't that bad before. So let's think about it. You come up with an idea, a new plan, mission. You see a new vision. You're excited. Okay. You got the uninformed optimism. This is from the book 12-Week Year, everybody. You have uninformed optimism where you're like, yes, I'm about to do this thing. I'm knocking it out the park. Nobody, these haters can't hold me back, all this kind of stuff. But you don't understand the cost that it's going to take for you to become this person. You did not do the inventory about the mindset struggles you're going to have to overcome, the acceptance that you'll need to be a different person, adopt new habits. We ain't think about none of this. We're just excited about the idea. And then step 2 is informed pessimism. You start to sink down. Do y'all see that? You go from here on cloud 9 down here. Wait, right here. Informed pessimism, because now you're just down in the dirt talking about, I didn't know it was going to cost me all of this. So you start to switch over to feeling more negative emotions. Then the valley of despair is change hurts. Change requires you to shed old skin. It requires you to separate from the old you in order to run towards the new you. It requires all of this. And when we get into a place of really counting the cost, sometimes that's financial costs. Okay, you got to invest to be better. Sometimes that is time costs. You no longer can waste time that you used to do these old habits. Sometimes it's communication, where you got to be okay with, learning how to talk to people and communicate better and reach out to people and all this stuff. These are changes that have to happen, and we can slide down into the valley of despair because now it hurts to change. And what I was working for, what was I even doing? Why was I doing this? It's not that big of a deal for me to be more consistent and hit that goal. I didn't want to be a speaker anyway. And I didn't want to start that business anyhow. Oh, I didn't want to lose 30 pounds anyway. Like, we start to diminish what we were doing in the first place, why we were doing it. Oh, I didn't really want to start that program that's going to change my city. Some of the ladies that are working, doing the Moms on a Mission for 2023, they have these incredible ideas. I'm talking about incredible, that are going to change so many people's lives. And somehow we will tell ourselves, it's not that big of a deal, because we just now figured out how much work it's going to be. Or we see, you know what, I can't be the same version of myself that I used to be. Now I got to make the shift. So we slip into the valley of despair because change is uncomfortable. He says, if you quit on change when you're in the valley of despair, you go back to stage 1, uninformed optimism, which is a whole lot more fun than being in the valley. It is at this stage in the valley that having a compelling vision is critical. Nearly all of us have had a time in our lives when we wanted something so badly, we were willing to pay the price and overcome any hurdle to get it. And because we hold on to that vision, because we hold on to the magic of our potential, because we hold on to what God has inside of our hearts, because we hold on to it, we're able to graduate to informed optimism and then to success and fulfillment. A lot of people, one of my girlfriends, she said, Christina, you are the poster child for consistency. I was like, I don't know if that's true, but thank you. To be able to have a moment, feel the moment, the negative emotions, whatever they are, and then come back from it. Say, listen, all right, this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm uncomfortable right now, but this is not my stopping place. Because I know it's a little uncomfortable to shed old skin, but I'm willing. I know that I have to get some boldness about myself. I need to do some personal inventory on how bomb I really am. I do that with my clients too, right? Girl, don't forget who you are. Put this out into the world. They need you. I got to be willing to make the change, willing to make the shift. And some of us, we stop in the valley of despair. Some of us, we stop before we even get there. We stop at informed pessimism. We stop at stage 2. Where we say, you know what? I didn't realize it was going to take this much. Let me just go back the other way. Let me go find a method or a way that's easier than the one she's talking about. Let me go and find a way to accomplish my goal, but I want to be as comfortable as possible. Let me go and work on my plan and make some tweaks accordingly because Christina's talking about this consistency and discipline stuff. And like Tracy said, be right back at the beginning. I have had clients who are like, yes, I know I need this. I want this so bad. And then they fall into informed pessimism. Maybe I don't really have this goal all that much. Maybe I don't really need to do this. Okay, I'll be fine without it. And then we go right back to the beginning. And this is not to say that I, by any means, am the end all. There are a million different types of coaches who coach you in a whole bunch of different ways. There's a lot of therapists who can work with you based on your own specific need. There are career coaches like Tracy who can help you with your business and your career. There are people whose life mission is to help you reach your goals. I'm just one of those tools, right? You can go to anybody. But realize that a lot of times you're walking into these moments with uninformed optimism. You're pumped up, you're excited about the change, you're excited about your vision and your idea. And then once we start to weigh the costs, we fall into informed pessimism. We become negative. I didn't know it was going to take this much. I didn't know I was going to have to be uncomfortable when I did this. I didn't realize Christina was going to make me do it whether I felt comfortable or not. Because that's the key, growing through it, like Tracy said. We fall into the valley of despair when we start to count the cost and say, is it really worth my effort? Is it really worth me trying this and doing this again? Is it worth it? We start to lie to ourselves. I did a live earlier, probably last month sometime, talking about self-deception. And so once we fall into informed pessimism and the valley of despair, you're now feeling the pain of change. You're now feeling the discomfort, and your brain is saying to you, sis, why are you doing this? It's not that important. You had this rhema word, you had this prophetic word spoken to you. God spoke to you in your closet. You know you're on fire. You know this idea is going to change people's lives. And then once you fall into the valley of despair, sis is like, yeah, it wasn't that important. Was that God that told me to do that? I think that was me that told me to do that. Was that God? We start to tell ourselves, I wasn't hearing God correctly. That was something else. Tracy. Don't we do that? Was that God? I don't think my spiritual ears is getting challenging. It's getting hard. I didn't realize it was going to take all this. This must not have been God that told me to do this. Somebody said the only thing we can get uncomfortable with is being uncomfortable, and that's not comfortable either. No lies told. We start to tell ourselves, we start to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves, my imagination ran away with me. Was that God that told me to do that? That couldn't have been God. This is way too hard for it to have been God that told me to do this. And we start to play the mind game. Okay. So I want to help us to identify the patterns. I want us to identify where we are in the cycle of change, or what types of action are we taking. All of these things so that we're mindful as we go to the next level. You are mindful as you create new results. Okay, you know what? I'm hitting myself now with informed pessimism. I'm feeling negative right now. I didn't realize it was going to take this much, but now I got to do the dirty work of connecting the dots in between the exciting revelation of a new plan or idea or mission or whatever, from there to execution time. And then after I get informed, I'm probably going to fall into like a pit of sadness because this is really hard. And if I wasn't trying to be this person, it wouldn't be this hard. And so some of us, we quit, okay? We say, I want to become this woman, but my family's really not on board like I need them to be. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard to make this work. So I think I'm going to regress. It's getting challenging. Being consistent doesn't feel tingly and exciting anymore. I think I'm going to regress. So we have to be able to do that math. We got to be able to identify our patterns. What are the patterns that happen to us when we are creating exponential change? Success and fulfillment is the final stage of the emotional cycle of change. At this stage, the benefits of your new behaviors are fully experienced and the costs of change are gone. The actions, which used to be difficult and uncomfortable, have now become routine. Every time you complete the cycle, you build your capacity and your confidence. At this point, you can move on to another change and you're more confident of your success. Every single year, and I'll share this with you guys, I'm going to get ready to wrap up. Every single year when we go back to the Momathon conference and all these things, I now have a greater capacity to experience success. Okay. Every time that I help a client hit a new goal, I have a greater capacity for success. Every time I hit personal goals and am consistent in my own life, I have a greater capacity for success. But sometimes we slide into that place of stopping at level 3, level 4. We stop before the fulfillment of it. Some of us, we have a goal, but we don't even really know what it will feel like when we've reached it. Some of us don't know. What does that look like? What does that feel like as we grow and develop into this new woman? Okay. So I think I'm going to hop on again tomorrow and teach this again during the daytime hours as a lunch and learn. But as we wrap up, I want you to know that there are so many valuable principles and nuggets here in this. You do have the capacity to grow through it. God did tell you to do it. And sometimes we have to remember, he gave Noah the word. He did not come and build the ark for Noah. God gave him the capacity to do it, but he did not come and do it for him. And so in the midst of us going through different cycles of change, it is pivotal. It is crucial that we identify the patterns we have and what we slip back into after we've begun to, excuse me, make the change we want to make. After we've begun to do that, you got to be able to identify it. You have to be able to say, this is for me. I am supposed to be this woman, but now I got to work through the how and all the details and get support where I need to get support. Like one of the things I invested in this year was marketing support, right? Because we have thousands of followers in a million places. So now I'm grabbing all these women from out there in Facebook world and all this stuff into a container, right? That's what I'm working on. But I don't know how to do that. So I was okay with going to find somebody who was going to show me and teach me how to unleash something different. Okay. I want to encourage all of you that you can have whatever it is that's in your heart to bring to life. As my client Tracy said, you do have the capacity for it. You do have the capability. Your mind is able to handle the shifts and the changes. However, we have to be able to identify the patterns that we fall into that are not serving us. And when my brain starts to talk to me and tell me all this random chatter that doesn't make sense, when it talks to me about my marriage and my kids or my home or my career or what I'm starting, all these things, when it starts to talk to me, when it's destined to keep me safe, I got to say, I don't want to be safe anymore. I want to be risky. I want to do things that scare me. I want to take chances and make a little bit of a mess and fail forward. I want to do all of that. I want to do all of that. You do have the capacity, the capability, the wild imagination, but your body's going to try to keep you safe. What's on the other side of that safety? What's on the other side of me just being so careful with myself? Am I willing to count the cost and pay the cost? This isn't necessarily a financial investment. This is the changing and the shifting from who you used to be into the woman that you're supposed to be. You're going to have a cost. Okay. And it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to hurt. Like one of our ladies that's watching, when I say we get on Zoom every week and we laugh our way through the discomfort and then we do it anyway. And then we talk about, why does this feel hard? How can we work around this? What's your brain saying to you right now? Okay, got it. Let's identify these things so we can work through it, so we don't fall back into these traps consistently. Doing these things makes all the difference, okay? So as we wrap up tonight, you all know where the DM button is. I would love to connect with you guys. If you are a brilliant woman who is accomplishing dynamic things for 2023, I'm excited to partner with you all. If you're looking for a coach, you're like, listen, I have been navigating this whole family thing, mom thing, business thing, trying to be a superstar, trying to lose 30 pounds. Like, I've been doing all of this stuff by myself. And I need that extra support. I need that person who's going to hold space for me and help me with my strategy and my planning and my vision, my goals. She's going to walk with me through some of these uncomfortable parts in the cycle of change so I can be the best version of myself. I'm your coach. Okay. I would love to partner with you through the coming year. But you got to be fun. You got to be coachable, and you have to have a mission in your heart that is meant to change more than just your life. You have to be willing to say, you know what? I know I'm meant for bigger. And now I'm willing to take those steps to go and get it. Okay. So those are the type of ladies that we're looking to partner with in the coming year. If that's you, you know where to find me. Slide in my messenger. Let's set up a time to chat and see if I'm your person in your mind. Okay. That's it for tonight. Thank y'all for joining me, ladies. Tracy says someone to walk with is valuable. You know, I think it feels good that somebody knows your life. You know, it's like, you know what? I get it. And we're here to look out for you. Okay, guys, I love y'all so much. Thank you all. I'm going to go live again tomorrow, hopefully around lunchtime, to talk more about the cycle of change. But until then, we will see you guys on the next one. Good night.